Hey everyone, this is Vlogmas Day 5. I actually had already filmed this and I was gonna upload it, but then when I looked at it, it was like double the time it needed to be, so I wanted to refilm it so that I could have room to film another video on my camera while this was uploading. And I've already filmed Day 6, so I'll upload that today as well because I'm so behind. It's actually Day 9. So with refilming Day 5 and then Day 6, I'll still have 3 other videos that I'll need to film today. So anyway, I apologize for Vlogmas being so far behind, but happy Vlogmas Day 5. Not really, but technically for me. Anyway, this one is going to be a book haul. This was an accidental fantasy book haul, which happened earlier this week, but that was great because I was very excited about all these books, and I then had content for a video that I didn't have to think about. So anyway, first is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas, I don't know. So I found this in my library's book nook, which is like people donate books and then my coworker prices them to sell them, and then people buy them and the money goes into the library. And it's part of like our Friends of the Library bookstore. And I saw this front and center and I immediately grabbed it, and it was so funny. I took it up to the counter and my coworker Denise was like, "Oh hey, I just put that out there, that's funny." And I was like, "Oh yes, I saw this and I needed to grab it." Because also she saw that I also got Heir of Fire and Crown of Thorns and Roses earlier this year. So anyway, I was kind of surprised that anyone would give this away because it just came out in September, and so I was very careful to inspect it, and there's literally nothing wrong with this except the spine. Like, you can tell by how bendy the spine is that someone has already read it, but it's not like broken or anything. It's just bendier than your average hardcover, excuse me. And also, it had sticker residue on it, which kind of left a little bit of a lightness here, but I feel like I got most of it off. I just need to kind of maybe rub it with a wet paper towel to try to get the sticky feel off. But anyway, so I was very excited about this. This is the 6th book in the series, so I'm now only missing books 4 and 5, Empire of Storms and Queen of Shadows, and I looked on Amazon and they're like either $6 or $7 each for the paperbacks, so I think I'm gonna get those. So I'll have a kind of mix of paperback, hardcover, UK editions, American editions, but I don't mind because I like them all individually, so that's okay. Next I have 3 books that I got from Barnes & Noble that same day. My aunt and I were going by the Barnes & Noble anyway, so I was like, hey, can we stop in there? And I bought 2 that I went in intentionally to buy, and then the 3rd one was kind of an impulse buy. So I'll talk about the 2 that I bought on purpose first. This one is School for Good and Evil, A World Without Princes by Soman Chainani. This is the 2nd book in the School for Good and Evil series. I think it's a quartet because I think it's like 1 book for each year that they're in school, and they're in school for 4 years. But I got the first one like 2 years ago, and I was avoiding it due to hype because I was worried that I bought it because of the hype, but then I was avoiding it because I was like, oh gosh, what if I don't like it as much, and what if it's too hyped up? And then I finally read that in November for Kids Lit November, and oh my gosh, that is the first time that I have devoured a middle grade book in I don't know how long, like I don't remember the last middle grade book that I sat down and just completely immersed myself in like that one. It was so, so good. So then I had to immediately pick up this one. The only thing that I'm worried about with this one is I was talking to Kate Howe when I think we were buddy reading Murder on the Orient Express with Katie from Books and Things, and we were kind of also talking about other things we were reading in the month, and I mentioned I was reading School for Good and Evil, and Kate was like, oh, I loved that book, but then she said that she started reading this one, and I think she said she disliked it enough that she didn't even finish it, so I was a little worried about that now, but I'm hoping that because of how much I loved the first one, I will still love this one. But I did pause on buying the third one, because I was originally going to buy them both at once, but once she mentioned that, I did pause on buying the third one just in case I do end up disliking this one, but I really hope that I love it. One thing, though, that I don't like is this little advertisement here, because that's not a sticker, that is actually printed on the cover, and I hate it when they do that, because I'm like, I just want to see what this is covering up. Like, I want to see that part of the illustration, not this little advertisement. Like, if you have to put a sticker on there, fine, but don't print it directly on the cover. This is just an advertisement for the fourth book, because that just came out in hardcover earlier this year. But anyway, excited for this one. And then we have Den of Wolves by Juliette Marillier. I don't know how you say it. I've heard both. I'm not really sure. I feel like Tanya from ListObsessedReader, who is the reason why I bought the first book, maybe said that she's heard, like, when the author says her last name, she says Marillier, not Marillier. So maybe that, I don't know, I can't remember. But anyway, I bought this because it's out in mass market paperback now, and that's what I was waiting for, because my other two are also the mass markets. I got this one in February on Tanya's recommendation, and it was funny, I got this and Heart's Blood not at the same time, but I hadn't read Heart's Blood when I bought this one. So I was debating which to read first, and then I ended up reading Heart's Blood first, because I was like, it's easier to start with a standalone, and also it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I was very much in that kind of mood when I read Heart's Blood, and I loved it so much that I immediately wanted to start this one, and I did, and I got like 150 or so pages into it, but I had that over like a month, because it was just, I was reading it without an audiobook because I didn't like the audiobook sample. So unfortunately, that took so long that I think I'm just going to start this over again in January and actually, like, give myself the proper time to read it. But yeah, I'm hoping to read this one in January, and then this one in February. This is Tower of Thorns, which is the second book. And then Den of Wolves in March, and Den of Wolves just came out in mass market paperback, which I was so excited about, because the first two, they waited until the next book was out in, it's either hardcover or, yeah, I think it was hardcover, so they waited until the next book was out in hardcover before they released the trade paperback and mass market paperbacks, but for this one, since it's the last one in the trilogy, they released it like 4 months early or something, because it's only been like 8 months since this was released in hardcover, so I was very excited about that. And did I say that's the Blackthorn and Grimm trilogy? It's the Blackthorn and Grimm trilogy, and I love the first one so far, so I'm excited to start that over and get back into it. Last is my splurge buy. This is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This is one where I've wanted to get it for a long time, but I didn't want to pay the hardcover price, and I was trying to win a copy of it from Goodreads like 3 different times in the last couple of months, and I lost like every time, because they were doing that since Girl in the Tower, the sequel to this one, has just come out, so I didn't win, so then finally when I was in Barnes & Noble the other day and I saw that this was out in paperback because Girl in the Tower has now been released, I was like, that's it, I have to pick this up for myself. So I have this now. I'm super excited to read it, especially because it's just been completely raved about. Specifically, the people who I follow who've raved about it are Bree from, I think, Bree-BreeReadsBooks. I think that's her channel name, but I'll look it up and put it in the description. And then Ange from Beyond the Pages read it. I can't remember when exactly, but she did rave about it when she did read it, and I mentioned to her that I got it, and she was really excited for me to read it because she loved it so much. So I'm just super excited about this one. I think I may also try to read this in January. So January may be a very fantasy-filled month. But anyway, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is longer than I wanted, but it's like 4 minutes shorter than it was before, so maybe I can film something else. But anyway, happy Vlogmas Day 5, and I will see you guys for Day 6, and you guys will probably see like 4 videos at least today, so we'll see. But thank you so much for watching, and happy Vlogmas, and happy reading.